Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to draw a realistic rose. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is my tools, my materials, and this is just a smaller version of this. It's the hard charcoal HB pencils, and this is the exact brand and pencil that I'll be using. I'll have links below so you guys can see exactly what it is and where you can find it. So this is also charcoal powder, which I will be using on the side with my brushes. So what I've already done before is I grabbed the charcoal stick and I rubbed it against another piece of paper off the screen over here, and I'll be dipping my brush back and forth into that charcoal pit here, as you can see. And then I'll be using my number 2 pencil every so often, just for the beginning part. I'll also be using my bristle recycled paper, which I will also link below. And then I just have some generic small brushes. Alright, so let's get into it. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is proportion and size. We want to scale it large. You want them to, you want your stuff to stand out. I'll just start by creating the inner circle. So there's like petals to this rose, and I'm just gonna sketch like this rough, rigid sketch. Now the hardest part about drawing the rose is just starting. Once you start, everything's just layering after that. You don't have to be precise and perfect with this sketch. It's not meant to be perfect yet. That's why we build onto our layers. So as you can see, I'm just freehanding it. And this is just the inner circle portion of it. Now you want to get the outer portion of it, the petals on the outside. And I'm just kind of go pretty fast. Not trying to worry about whether it's perfect or not. Just trying to get it in there. Because I'll fix it later. So I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in a couple of minutes. At least I have something to go off of now. Now I know what it looks like, and I can just fix, from this. The reason why I did the outer pencil marks is so I can get a rough estimate of the proportions and the size that I'm making this rose. So for me, I want to do this a little bit smaller. I want to go here and just start cleaning it up. Just erasing some marks that I don't want, that are unwanted. So I'll try to help you out, and I'm going to draw a line straight across right here, where I believe the center of the rose will be. And we're gonna put a line right where we think the center of the rose will be. I mean, the center of where the page will be. Alright, and I do go all over the place, so I'm sorry if I do distract you guys. I'll first start off with the outer curve again, so that way you guys can follow along. So we're building the curve. Down, up. You want to have a more of a natural feel when you're drawing these. They have the bends and the curves. There. Now I'm going to erase this line that I made before. If you want, you can start marking them, so you can see, like, I'll just do like little hatches, like this is dark right here. See that? So that'll be our indication that that's dark. We're gonna stretch out straight down over here, and then right here there's gonna be a little curve. I'll mark it just so you guys can see it, where it curves, and all of this will be dark. So over here, we're doing the outer ones first, like I said before, so that way you have a good sense of proportion. What I'm doing now is I'm just creating a little bit more realistic ridges along the edge. The edge, I think, is kind of the fun part. You don't want to get too crazy with the ridges, because then that takes away from the center. And you always have to have a center point of focus whenever you're drawing. And my center of focus will be right here, a little bit above the center line of the entire page. So as I'm fixing my rows by petal, I'm creating my outer petals to look a little bit more realistic. And then from here, you just want to take it all the way around. Roses are like circles, yet they're a little bit more complicated. The roses always start from the beginning, and it's also a great technique to start from the beginning, but I feel like that's more for advanced artists who already know proportion scaling. And for me, honestly, I just love being able to have some sort of recognition of center and then branch out. So this is the way that I attack my roses, so that way I know my scaling is always correct and accurate. So after this here, I'm gonna do this right here. So lines, like I said, this right here will be really dark, this will be dark, and this will be dark. So as you can see, if you want to break things down a little bit more to make things simpler to see what I'm doing, I work in sections. So this line, it helps me in a way to work in sections. So I work in this section first, and then I work on this section first, and then after that I'll work here, here. So it gives me like a sense of order in how I work, because otherwise you guys would just see me going all over the place like I usually do. So this is the way that I'll show you, and then after that I just keep going in a circle all the way down to the very center. Okay, so I have to come back and work on this one piece to continue this area, because as you can see, as I'm moving higher up, this interferes with this, because I won't get the proportions right if I don't finish this one section first. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue from here. And as I created this, we want to just make a little jagged line like that. So now that I finished this, I can continue and move on over here just to have that line there. It's kind of like a bookmark. But this right here, the outer edge, I'm ready to continue here. Now I'm going to have a very deep circle right there, half circle, and then a ridge going in and then out. I'm done there. Continue moving outwards. There's no straight lines, as you can see, so you just continuously make these wavy, wiggly lines. Another one right there, and then it curves downwards, and then you meet this rigid area right here, because sometimes they like curve inwards, and I'm trying to imitate. Alright, cool. So we have our drawing. So now I'm going to go over here to this section where I'm going to continue from here, because like I said, you have to work this way, but I have to finish this petal in order to make this accurate and proportionate. And I'm good there. Just leave that line. So as you can see, it's like fitting pieces in a puzzle. So now I'm working towards the center. And I think the one that's gonna have the most trouble for me right now is this section. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on this section a little bit more. To finish this section, I have to go back here to this other quadrant. So now we're continuing in this quadrant over here. And I feel like we need another little ridge to show a little bit more natural curve. So I'm gonna do like a little hill, little bump. We can continue rough sketching this, kind of like that, a little bit below the center line. Just rough sketching it, and then just taking it like that. There you go. So now we're going to continue from this to this quadrant. There needs to be a line here to create depth. So each line we get closer and closer, there's going to be more depth. Here I'll also make lines to show you where there's going to be shadow. anywhere that you see lines. So see, like right here, the petal is going to go inward, so it's going to be darker to light, darker to light. And it's going to be in some cases where it's going to be a little bit darker because the petal, it curves inwards that way, and these curve outwards this way. So these are all going to be a little bit darker, the ones that are coming upwards rather than going like this. So the shading pattern will be a little bit different, which I'll explain a little bit further into this session. So back again where we were at. You want to create another point here. Actually, I'm going to hold off on that. Come back over here. Create the line going this way. Just because I feel I'm a little bit more comfortable doing this first to continue this. And then once I have that line, I'll continue it from here. Here, I'll give you a good representation. So all this will be dark. We're making the outer petal that springs out a little bit more, just like these. And these will be the lightest. Also, when you're drawing, please don't press too hard on the actual paper, because then you won't be able to erase those marks that you just created. Alright, as we move up forward, this kind of fades away. So I'm going to go ahead and just make little dotted lines, because it's not really a line anymore. It's more of a shadow. It just turns from line to shadow. And we can't really continue here in this section, so we're going to go from on top in the other quadrant. Curves inwards, and over here there's going to be a bunch of dark value, and this fades to light, and this fades to dark. I'll just create a rough draft going inwards. It's not exactly where I want it, but it'll have to do for now, just so we can get a good idea of where things are gonna go. And we're just gonna leave that there for now. Come over here, again, also just make another little line here coming inwards. And I'll go ahead and make this a little bit more defined, so you guys can see that they're two different petals. And then this will be dark. this will also be dark. We want to take it upwards. Remember, this is the line that we had before. We don't need that anymore. Take it up, take it down, spin it all around. No, I'm just kidding. And then you move it upwards like that. Looks like that's a good position. And you just keep it there. Maybe this a little bit higher. Alright, now that we got that, we can continue up to the other quadrant. And you want to, here, I'll make lines again so you can see all this will be dark right underneath that. And I really love contrast, so I'm going to be really defining these sections a lot. I think contrast creates a very rich tone that, you know, balances from dark to light. And it's just that one dip and light to dark that makes your drawings look that much better. So I feel like the darker it is, I mean, the more it contrasts, the more realistic your drawings will look and feel. So now we're just gonna go and create the other petal here. Come over here. Bring it upwards. Shade this area right there, so you don't get confused with all these lines that are happening. Bring it down. Come up. You're following this line again, but this time we're gonna make a curve upward just a little bit, and then we're gonna stop there. And we're going to continue from here. So we have our curve. Now we're going to continue it over here. Make a little ridge. Another line right next to it for the little thin petal. And then we're gonna create a very light shadow value, a line, and then it just fades to dark. And then all of this, hold on, let me make it a little bit thicker so you can see what I'm about to do. All right, so all this right here will be dark. We have this quadrant mostly built up. We can continue layering it. Let's just do like a rough sketch where we have this petal going like this, and then it just, you know, curves inwards. And then we have another petal right here, and this will also curve inwards. And let this be the defining petal to take it all the way. See, it's already looking and taking form on the center. And take this line here because it's very close, so erase that. Don't want you guys to get confused. Bring that up, bring it down, create a little ridge, bring this higher, bring it up, and bring it down. Alright, erase that. Cool, so now we have some pretty good accurate lines. And you can go ahead and create a second line there too. Create lines there, showing that has depth to it. And then you want to come to the left side to finish up exactly where you left off. So we need a layer here. We need a line here. And then we also need to connect everything that's been going on here. Kind of like a puzzle. So now we have this line. Add the line here. All this will be dark. Let me just do this real quick. Alright, so this will be dark and then faded into light. This will also be dark under that. And then you want one single line to go from here curve a little bit, make the little ridge like we talked about, curve inwards, and then just fade away. All right. So now we just have this one and fade. All right, so we're gonna create one last right there. Awesome. All right, so that's how you do a rose.